Africa's largest refinery, the $20 billion Dangote Refinery, is finally set to commence fuel production as the first crude shipment arrived at the facility Thursday evening, marking a significant milestone for the country's oil industry. This comes as a huge relief after a series of delays since its official launch in May, with the lack of domestic crude feedstock hindering product manufacturing. However, a tanker carrying nearly 50,000 barrels of Agbami crude located at Dangote's offshore crude receiving terminal in Lekki at about 7 p.m. on December 7th, marking the initiation of crude supplies for the refinery's operations. The tanker, chartered by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC), symbolizes the initial crude supply to Dangote's state-of-the-art refinery as it gears up to initiate production. It is estimated that the Dangote refinery will cater for over 12% of Africa's product demand, potentially reducing petroleum imports across the continent by 36%. The refinery is also projected to generate over 100,000 job opportunities and stimulate growth in the cosmetics and plastic industries. NNPC, owning a 20% stake in the refinery, recently entered an agreement to supply 6 million barrels of crude oil as feedstock to the Dangote refinery in December, aiming to jumpstart operations. Agbami, operated by Chevron, stands as one of Nigeria's major deepwater developments, boasting a daily output of approximately 100,000 barrels per day in the central Niger Delta. Renowned for its light sweet crude qualities with specific gravity measuring 49.9 API and sulfur content of 0.04%, Agbami yields significant proportions of naphtha and kerosene. Further shipments from various Nigerian offshore fields to the refinery have been chartered by NNPC, signifying the beginning of a series of scheduled crude supplies throughout December. Upon reaching full operational capacity, the facility is anticipated to produce a daily output of 327,000 barrels per day of gasoline, 244,000 barrels per day of gas oil diesel, 56,000 barrels per day of jet fuel kerosene, and 290,000 MT year of propane LPG. This much anticipated shift is expected to transform Nigeria's oil industry landscape. While Dangote officials foresee an initial output of 370,000 barrels per day, primarily focusing on jet fuel and diesel production, industry analysts expect the refinery to achieve its full operational capacity around mid-2025. Dangote had earlier said in an interview in November that the refinery will start with refining Nigerian crude. He said the refinery's first priority is to supply petrol to Nigeria before exporting elsewhere, including the West African region. We don't want to start our refinery with foreign goods. We want to start with the Nigerian crude. We are more than ready, and you will see our gasoline products soon. The refinery, situated on the outskirts of Lagos, Nigeria's commercial hub, had faced delays since its announcement in 2013, despite substantial installation progress made in 2019. In September 2023, the refinery announced that it will start producing diesel and kerosene in October 2023 and gasoline 1 month later. In October, it was clear that the refinery would not yet be able to start operations because the supply of crude oil was stalling, which caused considerable public reaction. On the 25th of November, a new date of December 23 was given for the start of operations, with the refinery expecting a delivery of 6 million barrels of crude oil this month. This is, however, good news to Nigerians, while some don't see it as something that we need to rejoice about, because the government on its part have been giving promises and not fulfilling its promises long time ago. This has, however, caused a bit of controversy on social media, but what I think we should be thinking about is how this thing works and brings down the price of petrol, not taunting one another and asking that people that don't want Nigeria to work they should find something else to do. We know the antecedent of governments, successive governments in Nigeria, and how they have really disappointed the Nigerian people. And you expect that they will take every of their promises with levity. At this point in time, the questions that we need to ask is, would the running of this privately owned refinery, remember it is not Nigeria's refinery, NNPC only owns 20% of that stake, would it bring down the cost price of fuel? Would it make Nigeria better? Remember, if these developments do not reflect on the daily living of an average Nigerian, it is futile. The good news is just for the private sector, the private owners of that refinery. We only know that NNPC has 20% stake, and if it does not reflect on our economy, if it does not bring down the price of petrol, then what is the essence of celebrating such news? We need to understand that the time they opened the Dangote refinery, most of the persons that had stake in that refinery were present and not Nigerians. Emefiele is being persecuted for one or two things, for giving Dangote such an amount of money to build a refinery, while we have our refinery moribund. We have done turnaround maintenance on our refinery, but it's not yet working. As far as I'm concerned, we are more focused on not being deceived by these politicians again, their empty promises. What we were promised is that the Port Harcourt refinery was going to start working in December and not Dangote refinery. And we need an update of what is happening to the Port Harcourt refinery. Dangote refinery does not belong to Nigerians. NNPCL is a private enterprise. We are looking for what Nigerians have, the refineries that Nigerians have. There should not be a diversion, no excuse whatsoever. Don't divert our attention from one refinery to the other. Although it is a slap on our face and the Nigerian leaders that we have today, that we are having a Dangote refinery and we are making news about it. We are sane people in this country. If they are insane people in this country, I don't know about them, but I know about people that are thinking, that know what they're doing. The politicians will forever destroy an economy. Like one person said, have you seen a politician that have built a country? So, dear fan, therefore, so if the Dangote refinery does not reflect on the economy of Nigeria and Nigerians, if it does not bring down the cost of fuel and make life better for people that are using fuel, petrol, I don't think this is a good news. It is a good news to the politicians and the investors in Dangote refinery and not Nigerians. We can't be deceived any longer. We know how the game is being played and we are wiser, much more wiser now than before.